A last-ditch effort to find a resolution to the dispute over retrenchment at the National Conservation Commission is now underway at the Labour Department. Acting Labour Minister Senator Maxine McLean is chairing yet another meeting today, trying to broker some agreement between Labour unions and NCC management. The meeting follows one at Cabinet at Government headquarters yesterday after her initial talks with the unions. Shane Seeley has more.
There's a sense of optimism among all parties involved here this morning at the Labour Department as officials head into the office for what could be marathon talks over the issue of retrenchments at the National Conservation Commission. The first to arrive this morning were officials from the National Union of Public Workers, the President Walter Maloney and the General Secretary Dennis Clark. Now, we spoke to Mr. Maloney about his expectations going into today's meeting.
I will hope that this will be the final meeting, that there will be a softening of the positions, and so we can find areas that we can resolve this issue. A fight right now is not in the interest of no parties, to be honest with you. I think if we can find common ground and we can resolve these issues, it makes sense. Okay? If that doesn't happen, then we have to do what we normally would do: get back to our constituents, explain to them what took place, and then take direction from the council.
We also caught up with the acting Labour Minister, Senator Maxine McLean, and she too is hoping that through this process they will be able to avoid the possibility of an escalation in industrial action.
We will try to resolve the second of the two issues that would have been the contentious issues, the second one being the matter of consultation, and thereby the ultimate list that came up. And we will try to resolve that. From my engagement with the parties, the three, that is the National Conservation Commission, the Barbados Workers Union, National Union of Public Workers, they are all anxious to have a settlement, and therefore they have been negotiating in good faith, and that makes me optimistic.
Now, it's not clear how long these talks would go on here at the Labour Department, but when those officials emerge, we should expect to hear some definitive position which could determine the fate of those retrenched workers at the National Conservation Commission. I'm Shane Seeley for CBC News.
The Barbados Association of Retired Persons has completed a survey on how its members are coping during these difficult economic times. Though some appear to be handling the situations that confront them, President Ed Bushell says stress is taking its toll on others.
Mostly pensioners, they're finding out that their pension as a fix is having extreme difficulty to cope with the constantly increasing cost of living. And this group of members are particularly vulnerable to this.
There was a hive of activity around the Queen Elizabeth Hospital yesterday, sparking speculation on social media about what was happening at the island's main health facility. However, there was no cause for alarm. The assurance came from security officials following the staging of a simulation exercise dubbed Operation Cyclone. It was led by the Barbados Defence Force and also involved the Royal Barbados Police Force. Hospital officials said the exercise was intended to test the emergency response system in place for cases of mass casualty, evacuation, bomb threats, or any other disasters. However, several people who went to visit loved ones were not very happy about the lack of information from hospital officials about what was going on.
I come from my mother, she's in hospital, and I want to know what's going on, but I can't say nothing. I go back to work. And I want to know what's going on, but what's going on over here. We want to know, because I got time to rest, so I got to go back to work. They bear foolishness.
I need to see my mother there. She's not feeling well. I need to go in there and see my mother. We can see the fire trucks to the back, the Defence Force to the back. Tell nobody I come and say nothing from 4:30. We out here waiting. Can't get an answer. I know he's coming and saying that the patients and the persons out here are on Marley. We're not on Marley. We need to see our families.
I'm here for less than a half an hour waiting to visit my aunt on the C ward, the cancer ward. And no word as yet as what is happening, but we're hoping that we will get in to see her this evening.
Variety, the children's charity, has about 300 needy children on its books, but Executive Director Donna Russell says that number is growing given the economic conditions on the island. Ms. Russell was speaking to the media during the launch of Variety International World Conference, which begins in Barbados next Tuesday. She says while primarily the charity helps children with mental and physical challenges, they've extended the assistance to any child who needs it.
The database is growing, and it means that we have a little more administration than we'd planned for, But along with these 300 children come their parents. And although we're a children's charity, we can't ignore the parents. And so we would do things at Christmas. We would give vouchers to the families to ensure that at least for Christmas they have something to eat. And we are seeing not necessarily who you would call poor people. There are all kinds of people asking to help with a pair of shoes, to help with a uniform. There are working mothers out there who need our help.
And President Colin Buer describes the work that needs to be done for children as unlimited.
We've been able to help a dozen or 24 children by partnering with a corporate, and the corporate give staff to come and give lectures on different aspects of growing up and moving into the adult world. We could do that with hundreds of children, and it would be of great social value. There's never a limit, and in tough times, in hard times, financial times that we have in Barbados today, there are undoubtedly more children that are going without, that need support, absolutely. And the sad thing is that, of course, those times when there are more children in need, then there are less people able to give.
Barbadians are being encouraged to take advantage of training opportunities in India. High Commissioner of India to Barbados, Murugasan Shapashini, says the assistance is being provided under the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program, which more Barbadians should access. The ITEC program is a bilateral initiative offering training and capacity building opportunities to professionals and people from developing countries. She says the number of Barbadian participants had dropped over the years, and it was critical for Barbados to increase its numbers since countries with high participants would benefit from increased opportunities. Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, Stephen Lashley, agreed that the ITEC program was an advantageous avenue for human resource development. Restaurant chain Chefette is committed to the concept of buying local. Managing Director Ryan Halut gave the assurance as the 15th outlet was officially opened at Welch's in St. Thomas.
Is chicken we buy from Chickmont. We have our chicken nuggets from High Pack, our cooking oil from Roberts Manufacturing. You have all our advertising material from Coles Printery. You have our Coca-Cola products and our fruity products from Banks Holdings Limited, Barbados Bottling. From that same group, Banks Holdings Limited, you have Pine Hill that we buy our soft serve and our thick shakes from. And that's not to exclude the small, medium, and large vegetable suppliers that we buy produce from every single day. All those little sandwiches, we sell have lettuce, tomatoes, etc., the salad bar. So even the farmers we're supporting in our country, that is very important to us.